All right, so we were talking about encumbrances, and you'll remember, of course, that we have an encumbrance as a right or an interest. We just covered interest, those are debts, and now we're going to cover the right portion of it, which is an easement. An easement is the right to use the land of another. The right to use the land of another. That's what an easement is. It's a right. It doesn't go away. It's there forever. If I was going to be using my Boston accent. Here's a good test question. I see this all the time, actually. An easement runs with the land. It runs with the land. In other words, let me translate that. In other words, they're like peanut butter and jelly. If you are a property owner and your property benefits from an easement, when you sell that property, you also sell the easement with it. You cannot sell off the easement separately or sell off the land separately and then keep the easement. No. You can't give away the easement. No. You cannot sell off or in any way sever the easement from the ownership of the land which benefits from the easement. You can sell both, that's no problem, but you can't separate them in any way, shape, or form. Can't split the baby, so to speak. It runs with the land. That's very important. How is an easement created? Or, for that matter, can it ever be dissolved? And this is a classic test question on the exam. It's created almost always when one owner owns both properties. Now, let's keep in mind that in most situations, an easement is created when, like, for instance, there's a real estate development, for instance, and we're going to give you an example on the next page. And there's one property that benefits from the easement, and there's one property that is subject to the easement. And it's almost always created when one person owns both of those properties. And the only time it can ever really go away is if in some time in the future, those properties once again become under joint ownership, where they're once again owned by one individual. Could be a different individual than originally set it up, but once again, both parcels owned by one individual. Otherwise, it's a right and basically never goes away. What are some fairly common easements? Think about that for a quick second. I'm going to get a sip of water. You think about that. Thank you. How about a utility easement, right? Oh, that's probably the most common one. Those wires that that you see, of course, on the road, the high tension wires, those ones. Even utility easements exist underground. Sometimes they're in the back alley, especially like in a city or something like that. Utility easements. Then there's the right of travel, a travel easement. And this could be your ability to walk to the beach. This could be a shared driveway. There could be a lot of different travel easements. In a minute, we're going to talk more about a shared driveway as an easement. There are drainage easements for water runoff. There's septic easements. There's a view easement. I sold a house with a view easement. There's all sorts. Easements can very quickly become rather obscure. Let's just put it that way. There's fishing easements, hunting easements. There's all sorts of easements. But probably shared driveway is probably the most common easement in residential real estate.